Hey fellow comrades, welcome back. Today we're gonna be having an NU tier match against a fellow comrade from my Skype. Now as you can tell, I'm using a new team, a brand new team. I'm currently testing, so it's like a beta stage currently at the moment. But there are a couple of things I always wanted to use and I just didn't have the space, the luxury of using it. Now is the time to use those. One of those being Meditite, I believe it's called, yes, and the other one being Unfezant. Without further ado, let's jump right into this match. My opponent is gonna lead with Wigglytuff. I'm gonna go for the taunt, just expecting it to be more of a supportive set. Then I'm gonna go for the pursuit, expecting him to switch out, probably thinking that I kinda locked down all his move pool, or mostly, the more affordable ones. So anyways, Wartortle comes in here. I'm gonna taunt it just in case he's got Toxic. Of course, he needs to have it. Most of them do tend to run. And this Meganium doesn't have Aromatherapy. So I've decided to replace Aromatherapy with Toxic, as well as having Reflect for Meditite's setup situations that may just occur. I decide to kind of play a little bit risky. That's why I taunt. And luckily he didn't get any burn involved with a couple of other turns with Scald. Still, I'm gonna go for Toxic. He does switch out to his Wigglytuff. I do get a useful poison on it. Damn. Monitor always wants to shut down. But anyways, I'm gonna switch out to my Skuntank on this turn. He's gonna put up the rocks. Unfortunately, that was one turn too late for me. I could have easily shut him down if I would have only realized this thing is running, stealth rocks. But being that I barely ever face this Pokemon, if ever, I don't remember facing it, like ever. So yeah, my lack of knowledge, plus I didn't check Smogon, because if I face something that I truly lack knowledge, I really don't want to be checking Smogon, just because I want to get surprised. It's something that, I'm kind of eager to look forward to, but it's something that barely ever happens because I've been facing so many things in the past years, but this is definitely not one of them. Still, I'm gonna switch out to my Coracasta, Poison doing its toll. Of course, I do realize, well, if he did manage to put up the rocks, I may as well do the same thing, and exchanging some rocks damage between each other is probably gonna go balancing the game a little bit further, considering that my Pheasant as well as my Rotom, both of them are gonna be heavily crippled when the whole switching is concerned. Still, I'm gonna go for the Stealth Rocks. He's gonna switch out to his Wartortle, and I do realize if he's got a direct Rapid Spin, I can probably manage, because this is a trap, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to get his Wartortle come in so I can poison him directly on, as he will Rapid Spin most likely. I guess he was thinking that I don't have Toxic, but being that this is a defensive Coracasta, max HP, max defense, this thing does need to have something like that to kind of shut down a couple of things that kind of threaten it. And Wartortle, without me running Toxic, would have probably walled me completely. He's gonna go for the Volt Switch as I switch out to my Meganium, as he Volt Switches on me, so that gives him the Team Switch initiative. But unfortunately, I do kind of realize that this thing probably doesn't have Lum Chesto, just because of how his team is made. So I kind of felt like this is probably not one of those resting ones. So I decided to go for Toxic, but I miss. And he's gonna show me he's got Trick Room. So this is an offensive Exector, very very powerful, very very deadly. I'm gonna need to wear it down in order to win against one, because as I'm seeing his team, he doesn't have a Cleric involved, and if I can manage, I can probably weather his team down to a certain degree. Still, Psychic, it doesn't look like a free shot, which is incredibly useful considering this is a special defensive Meganium, and he's gonna need to switch out, realizing I'm probably gonna wake up. I'm gonna go for the Toxic now, and Probopass is gonna come in, avoiding that poison. Very nicely played by my opponent here. I mean, at some point he does realize I'm probably gonna wake up, and as much damage as he's doing, he cannot afford his Exector to get poisoned directly on. But still, I'm gonna make a great move right here. I'm gonna predict him to switch out back to his Exector, and I'm gonna go for the Toxic. I mean, great move or not, look at it either way, considering that his Probopass cannot really do much against me. Plus, there's a way I can go for the Lead Seed. Still kind of support my team even further, but I kind of felt like he's gonna do something like that. So I guess it was not for him to truly avoid my poison. I guess he isn't bothered by him getting poisoned, which I'm kind of confused, because you want to preserve this Pokemon pretty healthy, and poison, this thing is very threatening. Still, I do have a Skuntank, so I guess there is only a certain limitation he can go for, but we're gonna see. Anyways, he's gonna go for the Sleep Powder. I can only stay in because this is not a Cleric, So I'm looking at my team, I'm thinking, well, if something is gonna go to sleep, may as well go to sleep something that's truly bulky, probably the bulkiest thing on my team. He got his harvest up, abusing 2 berries, so he was a little bit lucky there, but he makes a great move there by going for the Giga Drain instead of Psychic, and I was actually expecting him to go for the Psychic, but because it was super obvious, he did see that coming. We're gaining a lot of HP as well as heavily denting my Skuntank even further. Now, because NKrhom was not up, I can go for the Pursuit, and either way, he cannot avoid such move. It's gonna be a guaranteed takedown, and I can, continue on from here. So he switches out to his Probo Pass. I'm thinking he's gonna go for the Volt Switch, or he's gonna go for something else. Let's go to our Rotom. I mean, Stealth Rocks is gonna do its toll, but it's Scarf, and I can probably outspeed anything that comes in if he does manage to go for the Volt Switch. So he does go for the Volt Switch, switches out to his Wigglytuff, getting some Stealth Rock damage as well as some poison, and most likely just a switch into his favor to try to Death Water it, realizing that Wigglytuff at this point, at that amount of HP it's at, it's not really gonna be doing him much favor. So I'm gonna switch out to my Carcosta afterwards. I'm thinking, okay, this is probably gonna give him the chance to switch in his Probo Pass and go for the Volt Switch, which is something I'm kind of going towards favorizing that move, because it may give me Team Switch initiative, but unfortunately I'm gonna need to sack my Carcosta. He does score a crit. I mean, is he specs, judging by damage, I believe he would have been doing more to my Meganium back there, but that's still a question. Whatever the case, he did crit me, so it's not really important to talk about it. He does take me down. I switch out to my Pheasant right now, seeing what kind of switch he did, and on this turn I'm gonna go for the Frustration now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rivalry. That is female Wartortle. Frustration still managed to dent him quite greatly. That is some incredible damage. Don't get me wrong, I believe this is a defensive Wartortle, that's why I'm saying this. And you're gonna see later on why that Unpheasant is incredibly powerful if faced by same gender. You will see. Anyways, I'm gonna switch out to Meditite after going to Rotom to be a Death Water to his Scald. Unfortunately, Poison is taking him down to a point where he's at Torrent range, which is gonna give him guarantee enough power to break us up. Incredibly useful on his behalf. Not to mention he actually scores a crit, which makes it even worse for me. Still, this is a max special defensive. It's really close to absolute max special defense with Bulk Up. With Eviolite, I can manage to take this NKrhom even after not being invested in defense whatsoever. I'm gonna go for the Drain Punch just to retaliate and get some useful HP back. But because he still has that Probo Pass, I need to save this Pokemon for later on. Like, this is the only Pokemon that can save me from that Probo Pass, Stiping, as well as this Meganium and maybe something else, but Skuntank and all those things can be easily walled by it. So I'm gonna need to play, according to plan. I'm gonna need to preserve some stuff in order to handle it. Still, I'm gonna switch out to Meganium now, and he did Waterfall. In case NKrhom with a miss, I mean, Waterfall is gonna be easy enough to take down my Meditite, so there is nothing he can lose. And afterwards, he's gonna go for the Sword Dance, go for the NKrhom and take me down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, behold the true power of Bandit Rivalry Unfezant. Look at that. Quick attack, straight, clean, taken down. That was a lot of HP there, and that is only 40 base power. So that is incredible. I was really surprised, but I'm gonna use this Pokemon more. I like it. Just judging by the amount of damage he's been doing, that is some crazy, ridiculous amount of power. I'm liking that performance. So I'm gonna go for the quick attack just to take him down. I mean, I have nothing to lose. Either way, I'm just gonna quick attack, and then he's gonna Volt Switch. I can at least see what kind of switch he's gonna do, so I can appropriately switch in something much better, to get into a much better situation. So I'm gonna switch out to Skuntank, go for the Crunch, predicting him to expect me to go for the Pursuit, but he's gonna stay in, go for the Silent Toss, and Aftermath is gonna take it down. That is important, because I believe if he would have switched out, Pursuit would have not taken it down. Maybe he would have survived the Stealth Rocks, and afterwards he could have Volt Switch with his Probo Pass, but because that did not happen, I guess he didn't think about that situation there. He could have easily Volt Switch afterwards. Still, I'm gonna go for the Drain Punch because Meditite is actually faster than Probo Pass, or at least I'm running some investment to actually outspeed a couple of threats that are threatened towards. I can easily outspeed, take him down, and that's gonna be the game for today. So that came down to be an incredibly close match. Good game to my opponent. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I did. Feel free to share this video with others. Thank you very much for your continuous support, and until next time, take care. Pheasant is awesome. Just say.